Welcome back to my channel. My name is Cookies and I'm going to do a quick tutorial on animal ears in Vroid. So first thing we have to do is select our model and then be very patient while Vroid loads. It's not a quick program, but it's a good one. Once the model has loaded, we're going to go into the hair editor and kind of check things out, get into the real nitty-gritty of building ears. We'll also check out the terrible job I did on my first go. All right, off we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a freehand group. Bam, freehand group. Now we're going to rename that group because I'm easily confused and this is the easiest way to stop that from happening for me. So I'm going to call it cat ears. You can grab it. We're going to take a look. Now I find the mouse is the best way to control Vroid for me. So look at those ears in all of their glory. Look at the separation. I am so proud of what I have done. Yes, I am. All right, so here's the real way to do this. Let's get rid of the ear balls and we're gonna make some ears. We're gonna select our cat ears. First thing you gotta do is pull up this grid. I'm gonna grab it and pull it up. I'm going to do the same for all the points of the guide next to it. Now I want these to all be the same, so I'm going to click the mirror button and I'm going to go back to this point and click it. And you see how it mirrored exactly what I wanted it to do? Perfect. That is what we're looking for. So I'm just going to pull these all out into a nice straight line. Now if it unselects it, go back down and select it again. And I just want to pull these out just a little bit further because I feel like that's the right thing to do here. Still want to keep them straight, but just out a ways. So my next task is to pull everything into the center, and I find the best way is to turn mirror off now. We're going to pull these all in and keep them nice and straight. Do the same for the back. Oh, I forgot to turn mirror back on when I was doing my outside edges. There we go. Okay, so now what we should have is a tall, skinny grid coming off of your avatar's head. So just give it a whirl sideways by holding your right-click mouse button down and pulling across the screen. That'll allow you to turn your model. So as you can see, it's right about the size of the ear width, and it's just above where the ear sits. All right, that is the easy part, guys, the grid. So our next thing to do is we want to start pulling the hairs that are going to be our ears. Here's the thing. There are lots of different hair parameters down this side, and that's what's going to make the difference for us. So I'm going to pull my width all the way across. And I'm going to pull my thickness out to 1, even though I think it should probably be a 3. I'm going to use the unfilled triangle old, keep it fluffy, but I'm going to change the shape a bit because I want it to mimic the shape of a cat ear a little bit more. So let's see what we get when we draw this out here. We've got mirror on. Oh, well, something's not quite right. I mean, we're close, but we're not quite there yet. So what we want to do here is our thickness is off. And I mean, yes, we want it to be about a 3. That looks about right. But if you've watched any of Aragama Witch's tutorials, you know that these sliders go forwards and backwards. So go ahead and we're going to select each of these cat ears and we're going to put them at -3. And that should turn them around for this. First, you actually have to select an ear. That would be a wise way to do this. So scroll down to the width, and there's the thickness. We're going to put our -3 in there. We're going to go to the other ear, and we're going to turn it this way so you can see exactly what happens. So we're going to go into the thickness and put a -3 in there, and it turns the position of that ear around. So that's layer 1 of our cat ears. If you find you've ended up with some extra hairs, just go ahead and delete them now because you only want to have the 2 for each layer. So we're going to select our layer, make sure we've got mirror on. We've changed our thickness to 0.13. And we're going to come on in and we're going to do it again. Pull another set of ear. Now, I can never pull the same shape twice, but the great thing about Vroid is it has these little control points, which allow you to change the shape of whatever you've pulled. So go ahead and just pull that into the same shape as the previous layer. And now we have layer number 2. Easy as pie, guys. Look at that. We're really rocking. So this is the inside of the ear. I'm going to switch up the color a bit. I'm going to maybe do a darker red and a red. And then maybe, I do like a purple. Let's throw purple in there for a highlight because we can do what we want. This is our girl. So now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go down to 0.11. And I want this to be a little bit thinner, so I'm going to milk it down maybe 80%. Okay, so we select our cat ears. We're going to come back in. We're going to try drawing our layer up. And as you can see, once again, I put it in the wrong spot. So back to control points. And we're going to pull it into the exact spot that we want it to be in, where we want this inner ear to sit. Is your inner ear too wide? Go back into your parameters and change it up. You're in control. You get to decide what your animal ears look like. I'm going to be so impressed to see what you guys have created. So this is our layer number 3, and you can really start to see the cat ears beginning to form. All right, here we go. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to change up this color as well. I'm going to make it white. I'm going to make the shade color probably a gray. And that highlight, I'm going to do another purple because you know what? I'm in control and I get to do what I want. So for this layer, we definitely don't want these as wide. And we're going to change the shape back to the diamond. I'm going to keep it fluffy. Now, I want this to kind of have a round floof kind of feeling. A floof? You ask, what is a floof? It's those fluffy little hairs that little kitties have inside their ears. So I'm going to try making those with Vroid, and we're going to see what happens. It's either going to be a major flop or it'll be fantastic. Okay, check to make sure your mirror is on. Get comfortably close to your model. Select the cat ears. Grab your pen. And we're going to pull some little inner ear floofs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wouldn't pull any more than 6 if I were you. That seems like quite a few, actually. So now we're going to go to our control points. And we're going to kind of just change the shape a little bit to make it look a little more fun, a little more floofy. You can change the length, you can change the width, you can change all kinds of things on each individual fur piece here if you want. I hope that each of these has at least 3 control points because that makes it a little easier for me to select and change the shape of each individual little piece here. Where am I going? There we go. So I want you to do these however you see fit. Whatever tickles your fancy. There's no right or wrong in this here area. You get to make your hair floofs look however you want. You can make them look like Inuyasha. You could make them look just like your cat's floofs. You're in control. If there's only 2 points, I like to pull another one or retouch it and just pull it longer so I get my 3 points for control. Because I like that 3rd point, one to be your anchor point, one to be your pivot point, and one to be the tip direction. Okay, so that, well, let's just kind of try making these a little floofier. So you can play around with the shape and just make it look however you want it to look. I mean, this is your Vroid model. You get to decide. You're in control. Once you're happy with the shape of your ear fluffs, we're going to go in and we're going to put one more layer on. So go ahead and select your cat ears again. Go back to your pen. We're going to go back to our ear colors. We're going to make sure that the width is appropriate. And I believe we're going to make it look more like that cat ear shape again. Do you remember how you did that before? Do it again. Get something very close to it. You're going to play around with this shape a bit, so that's fine. Okay, so let's draw in the front of the ear. We're going to select our shape that we just drew. So that's our numbers down here. We're going to make sure that our width is correct, which I think it was pretty good before. We're going to shape it out. Now we want this one to be in front. So what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to up the thickness. Now we might have to play around with this a bit in order to get the appearance we're looking for. Okay. So now I just want to play around with our little fluffs for a second again, because as you can see, they're kind of hidden by the front of the ear. So we're going to play with our pivot points. Throw that tip up a bit because that makes for cute floofs. Well, at least in my book it does. You do you. If you like it different, you do it different. There is no judgment here. So we're just going to play around a little bit more with the floofs. Get them to their perfect potential, or once you are happy with them. Okay, so that is our general shape of the ears with the little fluffs inside. Now the biggest thing we have to do, and the most important thing we have to do if we want them to move, is to add ear bones. So pop on up to the bone tab. Bing! Now all your ungrouped hairs are going to be in this little box down here. The above ones are going to be the bones you've already created for other hairs or earrings, whatever you might be doing. So I'm going to go down to cat ears, drop this down. I think probably the easiest way for me to do this to start is to select all of the main ear layers for each ear. So I'm going to create a bone group for that ear. I'm going to take it down to one bone. We're going to bring the fixed point up to about 80. And now I'm going to go ahead and repeat the procedure for the other ear. Okay, now that we've selected that one, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to create a new bone group, bring the bones down to 1, and the fixed point well up to 80, okay? And that's going to keep just the tip wiggling for us because we don't want a whole ear to be wiggling all weird like. So now we've got all these lovely little hairs in here, and I'm going to do every other one as a separate bone group. And I'm going to bring that way down. I'm going to bring this way, way up. I'm even going to take the stiffness up quite a bit here, probably to 75, because we don't want those things going crazy. Select the other 3, create a new bone group, and we're just going to keep repeating the process until we're through. if you see a hair that has gotten caught up in an incorrect bone group, you can just go ahead and remove those hairs from that bone group and add it to a different one. Okay, so we're going to pop over to the camera exporter. We're going to do a little walk test, and we're going to see what the ears look like in motion. You can see the tips give it a little movement, and the little floofs give a little movement as she walks. If we run, everything's got a little bit more bounce to it. All right, so that's the tutorial, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned a little something while watching this today. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm more than happy to answer questions. All right, guys, it's been a slice. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.